Hey guys, and welcome to another Factorio tutorial. I'm Exterminator, and thank you for joining me today. This tutorial is going to be a little bit different than the other ones I've done previously. Today I'm going to walk you through kind of the build thought process. When you go to build something, you have to think about it and plan it out. And I know a lot of newer players, and I was this way as well when I was starting the game. I know a lot of newer players kind of struggle sometimes with how to organize a build or where to go next. Trying to find a path or a goal towards something can be kind of hard in Factorio when you first start out. So I'm going to share with you my thought process while building, and hopefully that can help you maybe get some ideas and kind of maybe learn some things as well in regards to that. And I've also been doing a lot of design workshops on my stream, and it kind of just got me thinking that this would be something good to show. So let's start here. I have a list of some things that kind of run through my head when I start planning out a build and trying to organize how it's going to work. So I'm going to run down these with you, and then we're actually going to do one or two builds on screen here, and I'll walk you through kind of what I'm thinking, real time. So few things that I think about when I first start thinking about a build. And today we're going to go with electric engine units into robot frames for robot production, as well as an inserter chain production like filter inserters for blue science. I know that blue science is something a lot of people struggle with. I've seen a lot of posts about how do I set up my build chain for all the items for blue science. So hopefully this will kind of help with that as well. So when planning out builds like this, a few things I think of is, first of all, how many do I want? How many of this item am I going to need, right? So, with robot frames and robots, it really depends on your needs and how many you're going to want, but it is worth thinking about. Do I want 5 factories making it? Do I just want 1 making it? Do I want 100 factories making it? Because, that obviously impacts the space you're going to need and how you're going to set it up and what level of belt you're going to need and so on and so forth. And then the next big thing is how many of each type of materials are required, right? So for engine units, for example, which are going to be needed in electric engine units, they need a steel, a gear, and 2 pipe, which isn't that much. And they take 20 seconds to make, right? So looking at that, it's like, okay, I can share some belt lines. I can have a belt be like half and half of a resource. That's totally fine. Whereas compared to something like inserters, they need a lot of materials very, very quickly. They need... A normal inserter only needs a circuit, a gear, and an iron, but it needs it every half second, opposed to the 20 seconds of an engine unit. And then same with this, this needs 2, 2, and 1 every half second. And then the filter inserters need 4 circuits every half second. So this is something where you might think, well, I probably don't want to share a line of circuits or what have you, because it's just not going to be enough throughput, right? And then also consider the type of inserters. Obviously fast inserters and stack inserters are going to be able to grab and export things much quicker than long-handed inserters due to their movement speed. And then the stack inserter obviously can grab more materials as well. Consider the stack size bonus even, what stack size bonus you have. Now I have everything unlocked for this, so I have max stack size bonus, but that may come into play. It's not that huge. And then also ratios, of course, are very important, especially if you're doing direct insertion, which is another very important thing I consider. So for engine units, it's just a 1-to-1 electric engine unit to a normal engine unit. Is you only need 1 engine unit per electric engine unit, and they take the same time. So that's very easy direct insertion. You just insert one into the other. That's definitely worth considering. How you're going to export, import. Is it compact? And make sure to leave yourself plenty of room. So let's start with electric engine units, normal engine units, and robot frames. So say I'm going to go with 5. I kind of like round, numbers like that, 5, 10, 15, stuff like that. I'm going to go with 5. Again, you could do 10, 20, whatever you want, however many you need. But I'm going to say, 5. So I'm thinking, okay, well, let's start with what we need first. We need electric engine units, and if I could count, this is actually 5. So let's just say these are our electric engine units, right? This is kind of the first thing I'm starting with in my mind. And I'm turning advanced info on. Now the reason I want to show these as well is because these require a liquid. These are one of the few materials, or items rather, that require a liquid as well to solid materials. And this can cause a problem for some people, because you obviously have to insert the liquid. Now, this is where some inserter tricks can come into play, and a lot of this just comes from practice and game knowledge that's required. A lot of this stuff just requires practice, right, guys? It's just practice. The more you do it, the easier it gets, and that's kind of why I'm trying to show you the thought process behind it, and then maybe you can apply that to your games, and the more you do it, the easier it will get, and then you'll get to a point where you can actually just start coming up with new builds completely. Which is kind of like what I've done on my streams lately, is once you have this base knowledge and you've done this enough, you can start thinking, okay, well, maybe if I change this, it can do it better, or if I rearrange this, so on and so forth. So we have our electric engine units. Well, let's get our liquids in first, right? That's probably the smart thing to do. So I'm thinking, okay, let's get our liquids in. Now I'm running a solid pipe. Again, there's many different ways you could do this. This is not by any means the best build possible. This is just my thought process. You could do undergrounds, but I know in my head that I can still get materials into here utilizing long-handed inserters, even though we have a pipe here. Even though we can't use these inserters, we can use long-handed inserters. And again, this is where it all comes into play, all these things to consider. Long-handed inserters, of course, are slower than the others. However, I know that these take 20 seconds and only need one engine unit. So the slowness of this inserter is not going to be an issue whatsoever. Okay, now again, if these were something that, say, took a second and needed 1 or 2 engine units, then that would be an issue. Okay, so I'm thinking, all right, well, I need to get engine units in, and I would prefer to use direct insertion. Usually, in my opinion, direct insertion is best wherever possible, just because it's you don't need a belt, so it's cleaner. And also, a belt is not necessarily good for game performance. Obviously, you need tons of belts to start noticing a difference, but I'm kind of in a mindset now in my gameplay where I just try to eliminate belts and stuff wherever I can if I can do direct insertion. So I'm going to put engine units here. Right? So these are going to be engine units. Again, these are a 1-to-1 ratio, so this will work. And I'm going to use long-handed inserters. And you'll notice here, this is where the advanced info thing comes in handy. And you turn that on and off with Alt. This can still grab from here, right? It's over the assembler. And it can still input into here. So that takes care of that. Now, I kind of want to switch the direction I'm working from and make sure that I can at least get the materials for my normal engine units first, right? If I can't do that, then this whole build is borked. Okay, so we know we need gears, steel, and pipe. Well, that's 3 resources. We're obviously going to have to do 2 belts. However, again, since they're low amounts and it takes a long time, we can just share a belt for one and have another belt for another. And again, this is why I like direct insertion, because if we were trying to export these engine units and then send them to the electric engine units via belt or something, we might have an issue with this type of setup, because, I mean, there's 2 belts, you can't really export anywhere. Of course, you could export out the back if we weren't direct inserting, but again, I just think this is cleaner. Okay, so we're going to do this. You don't need fast inserters. Normal inserters would work perfectly fine for this. I just use fast inserters because I just don't see a reason not to. I mean, sure, they take a little more power, but in my mind, it's pretty negligible. So we're going to have something on this side and 2 resources on this side. Now, again, for sharing belts, what I would think about normally is whatever resource has the lowest requirement in the build, right? I'm going to want it to share a belt. Okay, so say, just for example, let's say this took 5 steel and 1 gear and 2 pipe. I would want the gears and pipes to share a belt because they're a lower requirement. And if this took 5 steel, I would want it to be on its own belt just because there's more resources, so you're going to need more throughput. And then, of course, we would just build, our steel would probably be coming off the bus somewhere, so this would be steel. And then I'm thinking, okay, well, I wouldn't really be having at least pipes on my bus. I may have gears, it depends on your setup, but I could easily just make both of those here. Right, if you wanted, you could stick one on this other side and maybe underground this. You could export here, or you could just build them side by side and you can still get it onto here. So we'll just make pipes and gears here. This is totally fine. And we just need to get our gears into here, or our iron. You could run the iron even just back here. These both require iron, obviously, and that's all they take. And then for exporting, again, you can do some tricks because inserters export on the far side, so these pipes are going to be on this far side of the belt. Obviously, we want the gears on the close side. You know, you can do really any number of tricks. I mean, just off the top of my head, just thinking about this, like literally just a second, I could just do something like that. There's more elegant ways you could do it, but again, there you go. So these are done. That's all these take, right? Steel would come in off the bus. So we take this, and I'm thinking, okay, well, these require circuits and lube. We already got the lubricant in here. Looking at RoboFrames, these require batteries, electric engines, which we will direct insert again, steel, and circuits. And they also take 20 seconds. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I think I want to share circuits. You know, they both require circuits. Let's reduce the number of belt and space we need and have them both share circuits. Okay, now this is where it might get tricky. Trying to get these materials in here. All right, because these share circuits. Our RoboFrames, which are going to be over here, are going to take circuits. And again, this is a 1-to-1 ratio. They require one engine unit and take the same time, so this is fine. But now we're in a little bit of a predicament, right? We're like, okay, well, how are we going to get these in here? Well, my first thought is, let's try some underground belt, all right? We can underground belt this. Inserters can grab from the opening or exit of an underground belt, so this is fine. We remove these belts. Now, is this even? No, you could move it around. You can make it even in terms of the space in between here, right? But now this allows us to actually get inserters in here. So we notice, okay, well, we have one space really on most of these we could put an insert. You can't put it here, obviously. So let's start with that. We can put one here, 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 and just for symmetry's sake, put one here. And, you know, if you want to, oh, see, here we go. Now we can make this even. Now we can just take this, boom. Now we have an even space in between. That works out perfectly. So now these are sharing an inserter belt, or a circuit belt. You know, it could come from either direction, doesn't really matter. And then we need steel and batteries. Now, personally, I would probably have my batteries in the robot network because I would have just made some robots by hand at that point. But we'll just assume it's on a belt. And again, they're low amounts. These take a long time to make. You would be totally fine sharing a belt of batteries and steel. And you may even have your batteries on your main bus. That's actually fairly common. Again, using fast inserters because I want to. You don't have to for this. This guy would then be batteries and steel. And then this is a very easy export. Now you could export this directly into your robots. However, the ratio is not even close to 1-to-1 because these take 20 seconds and the robots themselves take half a second. And you may want some of both. So personally, I like just storing these. You could store them in boxes if you want them in the robo network. You know, you could just stick them in boxes here or whatever. Or you could just, again, do a belt and just send them off and then box them from there, or have this belt down to robot production, whatever you want. But there you go. So in this small space and not actually utilizing that many belts here, this is the iron, remember, for this, we now have robot frames, engine units, and electric engines being made, all correct ratios. So that's kind of my thought process there. And then lastly, just for like inserters, right? This is another one where direct insertion is very important in my opinion. And I'm not turning, I mean, I guess I could demonstrate this working, but we went through it. I mean, it's going to work. All these inserters grab what they need. And again, this is a circuit belt. So for inserters create really quite quick, and they need a lot of circuits, iron, and for filter inserters, you obviously need the previous level. So my thought process here is instantly for me, it's that I do not want to be putting these inserters onto a belt, belting them to the next level of inserter, and then taking them. Because in my mind, that is just not efficient, it's messy. And since these are, again, a 1-to-1 ratio in regards to the inserters they require, right? This requires one normal inserter to make one fast inserter, and this requires one fast inserter to make one filter. It's a 1-to-1 in that regard. We can just direct insert again. And fast inserters, you may even want stack inserters or 2 fast inserters, because again, these create very quickly. But doing this, it's compact. It's better, in my opinion, than doing something wonky like this. You could do this to export and import, but why do that when you can just direct insert? Okay, and we know, okay, well this guy needs iron, gears, and circuits. This guy needs iron and circuits, and then this one just needs circuits, but it needs a lot of circuits. Okay, so, you know, at first thought, or if you're newer to the game or whatever, you might think, okay, well, let's share iron and circuits. Well, that may not be the best idea. Again, because circuits and iron, that requires a lot of them very quickly, and on top of that, this one doesn't even require iron. So by sending circuits and iron on the same belt, you're essentially sending iron down here completely needlessly. There's no reason to have it down here. So for those 2 reasons, I'm going to want circuits and iron on separate belts. And again, considering what inserter I need to use is also very important here. I'm going to want fast inserters and or stack inserters to get these circuits in because we need so many. So I'm going to want my circuit belt to be close, right? If you put the circuit belt here and have the inside one be iron, you're going to have to use longhand inserters to get these circuits in, and they just will not be fast enough. Okay, so you want this. Again, we're probably going to need more than this. You're going to need probably at least 2 here, maybe some stack inserters. This one, you're going to need it. I mean, this 4 circuits every half second. You're going to need maybe like 3 stack inserters or something, but this is just for demonstration. And then this one's iron, right? And I mean, sure, this does require 2 iron. So maybe perhaps what you would want is something like this. A stack inserter here, and maybe 2 long-handed to get this iron in. This guy also requires iron, but it only requires 1. So do 1, maybe 2. And then this only requires 1 circuit, so you could just get away with something like this, right? And then this would be your iron. Now, this needs a gear machine. You may have gears on your bus. This is one reason I don't really like gears on my bus, because you may end up with some throughput issues. If your like gear production is like way up here, you're having other stuff take it. By the time it gets down here, are you really going to have enough to pull 1 gear every half second or 2 per second? So again, direct insertion. This is the only one that needs gears. So I'm thinking, okay, let's throw this down here. Do that. Direct insert again. And I may pull a separate iron belt for this, or I may just split this. You know, I may just, whatever, throw a splitter here, have him grab here, and veer off to this side. And this is our iron belt. You know, and you could just do this, and if it's not fast enough, which it may not be, you can just do this, or even turn it in, whatever you'd like. There's that. We have iron, gears for this, circuits for this. This one's done. This one direct inserts into here. This one gets circuits. This one gets iron as well. And direct insert into this one, because for like blue science, this is the end product we need. And then we're going to need a lot of circuits for this. So what you may do is you could do something like this. And the reason I'm doing a mixed type here is because stack inserters, they can grab a lot of materials, but they won't grab more until their hand's empty. So say this thing grabs like 10 from this belt and inputs them into here. It like has to grab 10 again. And in that time, this may have run out. So it's better to kind of mix them. It works really well. And if for some reason this is not enough for you, since we have so much room here, I mean, you can just curve this around here if you want. And just boom, just have even more insertion here. And then there's more than enough room to just export these wherever you like. You could put them in a box, you could put them in a belt, on a belt rather, whatever you like. Now, I would suggest making a separate build, like if you want fast inserters or normal inserters just for personal use, for like making other builds, I would suggest making a separate setup. Again, this is something that goes through my mind because this is a 1-to-1 ratio, so if you're trying to pull like extras from here, it may cause problems. Of course, if this belt is backed up, like if you're not doing blue science production at the moment, that's fine. But the inserters aren't necessarily smart enough to realize that. So this may be like dumping them into a box when you actually need them for this. Again, that's something that goes through my head. So there you go. That's kind of my thought process when building. I hope this was helpful. I know this was a bit longer tutorial, but I did want to walk you through the process, live, so you can actually know what I'm thinking here. And, hopefully this helps you with your builds and kind of have some more direction and an idea of how to, set up these builds and such. And this will work with anything. I just use these for examples. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you found this helpful. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I would love to hear any feedback, thoughts, comments down in the comments section from you guys. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you all, and do take care.